The Midnight Sea and the Gentle Hands, a bedtime story inspired by chapter 14 of the Gospel of Matthew. Long ago, under a moonlit sky, where stars shimmered like quiet lanterns, there was a land where miracles danced gently across the earth, like the wind upon still waters. In that land, by the soft hills of Galilee, the people were waking up to something new. Word was spreading like birdsong at dawn. A teacher, gentle and powerful, walked among them. He healed the sick with a touch, calmed troubled hearts with his voice, and spoke of a kingdom not seen but deeply felt. His name was Jesus, a lonely king, and a sad feast far from the peace of the countryside. In the cold halls of a stone palace, King Herod sat upon a throne that brought him no joy. Though his crown gleamed and his robes flowed like rivers of silk, his heart was filled with unrest. He had done something he could not undo. He had imprisoned John the Baptist, the one who cried out in the wilderness, who had baptized Jesus, and who spoke boldly of truth, even to kings. And then, during a strange and glittering feast, full of dancing and pride, Herod made a promise he wished he hadn't. In front of guests, and under the spell of his own words, he ordered John's life to end. When the news reached Jesus, he withdrew, quietly, gently, to a solitary place. His heart, full of love, needed silence. Even the Son of God grieved, the hills and the hungry crowd, but the people followed him. They came from every village, walking across dusted paths and through groves of olive trees. Some were sick, some were tired, many were simply curious. They brought their children, their burdens, and their hopes. When Jesus saw the crowd gathering like sheep without a shepherd, his heart did not turn away. Though he was mourning, he welcomed them with compassion. He walked among them, healing their wounds with his hands, touching eyes that could not see, limbs that would not move. All day he taught them, not with loud words, but with stories and grace. The sun arched over the sky and began its descent. The disciples, tired and concerned, approached him as the sky began to blush with evening light. "This is a remote place," they said. "Send them away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus smiled softly and said, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." The disciples looked around, confused. "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish," they said, holding the small offering. Jesus nodded. "Bring them here to me." The miracle of the meadow. The people sat down on the soft grass like waves across a hillside, thousands of them. Children nestled beside mothers. Old men leaned on canes. Everyone waited. Jesus took the loaves and the fish, and he looked up to heaven. In the fading light, he gave thanks, broke the bread, and handed it to the disciples. And then a miracle bloomed quietly. From those few loaves and fish, enough food flowed to feed 5,000 men, not counting the women and children. Baskets were passed from hand to hand, full of bread, warm as the sun. Fish, tender and rich, filled every empty plate. When all were satisfied, the disciples gathered 12 baskets of leftovers. Not one belly was hungry. Not one soul was forgotten. The people didn't cheer or shout. They simply sat in the glow of what had happened, in awe under the deepening twilight. The night wind and the silent sea. After the meal, Jesus gently asked his disciples to get into the boat and sail ahead to the other side of the lake. He would join them later. Then he went alone up a mountainside. The stars began to scatter across the sky like scattered pearls. Jesus stood in the hush of the night, praying to his Father, the wind lifting his robes, the world still below. Meanwhile, out on the lake, the disciples rowed against a rising wind. Waves tossed the boat like a cradle rocked too roughly. They were tired. The night had grown long. Their muscles ached. Then, just before dawn, in the fourth watch of the night, something happened that none of them would ever forget. Walking on the water, out on the water, the disciples saw a figure, glowing faintly, calm, walking on the waves as if the sea were solid ground. Their hearts pounded. "It's a ghost!" someone cried, but a voice, familiar and steady, called to them through the wind. "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." It was Jesus. Peter, wide-eyed and trembling, spoke up. "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." And Jesus said just one word, "Come." Peter and the deep. Peter stepped out of the boat. For a moment, just a moment, he walked on water. His eyes were on Jesus, and faith held him above the waves. But then he noticed the wind, the waves. The fear slipped in like a cold tide, and he began to sink. "Lord, save me," he cried. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. His grip was strong, steady, kind. "You of little faith," Jesus said gently, "why did you doubt?" Together, they climbed into the boat, and as soon as they did, the wind calmed. The sea smoothed. The stars shone more clearly. The disciples, wide-eyed and quiet, whispered among themselves, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Peace and the morning light. As the boat sailed on toward the shore, the sky began to lighten. The first hints of dawn stretched across the horizon like gold spun into silk. Jesus sat among his friends, the sea now still, the storm behind them, the memory of walking on water, of bread multiplied, of fear calmed by faith. It all hung in the air like a lullaby. The people on the far shore would soon come, bringing their sick, their needs, and their hopes once more. And Jesus, always gentle, always true, would touch them and make them whole. But for now, in the quiet before the morning, there was peace. And you, dear one, can rest too. Close your eyes. Let the waves hush your thoughts. Let the hand of the Savior hold you steady. You are safe. The storm is gone. The night is calm. Good night. If this brought you a moment of peace, feel free to subscribe for more calming content each day. Now, dear one, as you close your eyes and let this day slip away, remember the one who does not break the bruised reed, the one who heals gently, who teaches with wisdom, who speaks with calm. He is the Lord of rest, the comforter of the weary, the keeper of your soul. May your dreams be filled with golden fields and quiet streams. May your heart rest in the peace of knowing you are seen, loved, and called family by the one who walks through grain fields, still speaks truth, and always offers rest. Good night. Sleep peacefully in his embrace.